Hearth-warming was here. Once again it had come. Fillies and colts sound their horns and beat their drums. The snow was so cheery, the lights were lit with gems, and every pony prepared for what the season meant to them. Yes, every pony in Ponyville loved hearth-warming a lot. But Discord, who lived in the neighboring dimension, did not. He hated this holiday, the whole sappy season. But exactly why? Well, we're not sure of the reason. It could be, perhaps, that his hooves were too tight. It could be that any one of his dozen different body parts and extremities hadn't been put back on quite right. But I think the most likely reason might be that Discord had never given, he'd only received. Well, whatever the reason you might want to choose, the Draconiquus thought the whole thing was bad news. Staring down with an over-large frown, he watched the ponies scurry about the town. Every pony in Ponyville will be hanging their wreath and putting up mistletoe to kiss underneath. Blech. They're hanging up their hearth-warming dolls, he sneered. Tomorrow is hearth-warming day. It's practically here. Then he growled, his detached fingers nervously drumming. I must find a way to keep hearth-warming from coming. Tomorrow every colt and filly, dressed in their best, will come out all cozy and frilly, and every pony in Ponyville will stand hoof and hoof, and they'll gather in the square, in each building, on each roof. Then comes the part I hate the most. The families will make their hearth-warming toast, and as the city hall bells start to ring, they'll all spontaneously begin to sing. Okay, we get it. I'll have to hear the song soon enough. We don't have to play it right now. The more Discord thought of the ponies' hearth-warming-ing, the more Discord thought, I must stop this whole thing. For a millennia I've put up with it now. I must stop hearth-warming from coming. But how? Then he got an idea. An awful idea. Discord got a wonderful, awful idea. I know what I'll do, Discord said, floating round. If I can't enjoy it, I'll defestive the whole town. With a snap of my fingers, like a gauntlet in a certain overrated franchise, I'll make every decoration disappear from the sewer to the high-rise. The sun was just setting. Now was the time to act. While the ponies all slumbered, he'd fulfill his dark pact. He wanted to make sure that he was close enough to see before he went to his task without hiding his glee. So he poofed away, and in Ponyville Center repoofed. Then looked around at the snow ponies with their mittens on hoof. These, he said with disgust, will be the first thing to go. He threw snowballs at them, which destroyed the ponies of snow. Then he went, and with a snap and a wink, the festive glow of the city all started to sink. Every wreath disappeared, Santa hats flew into the distance. The snow was all cleared, candy canes popped out of existence. The decorative lights were all unstrung, and the mistletoe wilted and died where it hung. The town was soon bare, and with the last of his over-the-top brandishes, he turned the hearth-warming feast into large stacks of hay sandwiches. He poofed away once again to a mountain nearby, then looked down at the town as the sun started to rise. It was 7:15, all the ponies still in bed, as Discord danced with joy and stood on his head. It's over! He was chaosily humming. They're finding out now that hearth-warming isn't coming. They'll all wake up. I know what they'll do. They'll all stand around a bit dazed and confused. Then they'll all realize this holiday was an annoying pest. And for showing them the way, they'll all know I'm the best. That's a cry of admiration I simply must hear. He paused and put a claw to his ear. And Discord heard a sound rising out of the town. It started in low. Then his ego it drowned. But that sound wasn't admiring his brilliance and tact. In fact, it was selfless, and with joy it was packed. Dressed in their best bows and hats very frilly, came a congregation of young colts and young fillies, followed by every pony in Ponyville, standing hoof in hoof, gathering in the square, in each building, on each roof. Then, dutifully, as an old guard that had never left his post, the families started making their hearth-warming toasts. And as the city bells started ringing, they all spontaneously began to start singing. Hearth's warming hadn't been stopped. It came. Without rhyme or reason, it came just the same. And Discord, feeling like he'd been horribly screwed, stood pondering and pondering. But I was so shrewd. They didn't give presents pointlessly expensive. They lost the shopping over which they'd been horribly defensive. How can it be? How can they be glad? They didn't even get to spend money they never had. What's the point of this holiday, if not the things they do? I've been horribly conned. How can this be true? He puzzled, and confused more and more. Then Discord thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe hearth-warming, he thought, isn't about gifts and decor. Maybe hearth-warming, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Ponyville, they say, that Discord finally felt the urge to give that day. With a snap of his fingers and a tap of his toes, a snowy wind on the town began to blow. With the snow came the decorations, the festive feasts, the gift boxes, plus grander food, prettier lights, and to every pony some nice sockses. Now that his heart felt 3 times bigger, figuratively speaking, of course, he knew what he wanted to do with every pony and horse. Discord rode into town on a chariot of fruitcake, then came to a stop using a candy cane footbrake. Magically he made appear a bag of great toys, which he handed out to all the girls and boys. He even magically improved all the food for their feast. And he, himself, Discord, carved the roasted beet. I know it doesn't rhyme, but they're vegetarians after all. The fire of friendship lives in our heart. As long as it burns, we cannot drift apart. Though quarrels arise, their numbers are few. Laughter and singing will see us through. We are a circle of pony friends. A circle of friends will be to the very end.